Hey, this is Sean Allen, and today I'm going to show you how to do a fade and wave cut. What is a fade and wave cut? It's bald on the sides, blended, and dark on the top so you can keep your waves. Stay tuned. This is Sean Allen, and I'm out.
Flames.
What I'm doing is I'm using the Slimline Pro LIs and I'm balding it out. I'm taking the first guideline and balding it out. And what I'm using is the Walls Magic Clip Cordless #1, and I'm going up an inch. Give myself some space. What I'm doing now is I'm using the Wall 5-Star Seniors Open. What I'm doing is I'm using it open and I'm going a ½ inch from my #1, and then after that I'm scooting the lever up to close so I can take that first guideline out. And what you see right there is a little spot. See, he has little digs in his head, little humps in his head. So what you got to do is that you have to just use your corners and put the lever up closer on that certain spot so you can blend it to match everything else. And what I'm using right here is my Magic Clip Cordless with the wide blade. As you can see, I'm using the corners. I'm using the corners so I can just blend it more, taking it to another level. I'm looking back, I'm just trying to see if I see any spots. Now, I'm using a #2. And what I'm doing is I'm starting to break down the demarcation line. Just starting up, just blending and blending and blending. Now what I'm using next is an OA guard. And I'm just taking it from that #2 and I'm just scooting it down just a little bit more to the OA guard. Going through my steps. Now what I'm using now is the Andes Masters, but I'm using a 1.5 guard. And I just went right under the OA guard, just blending, just bringing it down, just going down the stairs. Now I'm using the #1 right under the Masters 1.5, and I'm just blending out all the dark spots, all the demarcation lines. I'm just blending it out. Like I said before, you must use your corners. Use your corners or your clippers and flick out. I'm just looking at each spot that I see. And what I'm using, I went back to the wide blade. And what I'm doing is I'm just using my corners on my wide blade and I'm just flicking out. And as you can see, it's looking more and more blended. Now what I'm doing is I took my #1 Magic Clips and I went on top with the grain. As you can see, I'm just cutting forward with the #1. And what you want to do, you want to be careful on the crown area. See, I use a different guard. I use like an OA guard on the crown area against the grain, and then I blend it. Now what I'm doing is I went right back to my Walls Magic Clips with the wide blade. And what I'm doing here is I'm just taking off all the little strands on top so his hair can lay down perfectly. And that's what you do when you want somebody to have waves. After you cut it, you just take the wide blade, which is a #1 by the way, and then just go forward. with the grain. Now what I'm using next, I'm back to my OA guard. And what I'm doing, I did all the steps, but now I'm just blending everything that I see. Like I'm getting that demarcation line out right here. And I went back down to my Andes Masters 1.5, and I'm just going back over the steps again so I can make sure every single demarcation line is gone. So as you can see, I'm just going down the steps again. I just went up and went all the way back down again. Grab my OA guard, because I seen some dark spots. Grab my 1.5 Masters, just focusing on that demarcation line that I see right there. All I'm doing is just flicking it out. So what you need to do is always use your wrist. Always use your wrist when you flick out. Don't be stiff. Now what I'm doing is I'm starting to line up with my Slimline Pro Li. I start in the center, and I just line back and forth. I call it a seesaw method. Start from the center and I go back and forth and back and forth, and I look at it to make sure it's all even. Line the sides up, making sure that everything is nice and crisp. And what I'm doing with my Slimline Pro LIs is I'm using the corners so I can get a perfect C effect. Now when I say C effect, I mean like a letter C. I like the sides of the haircut to look like a letter C, a really sharp letter C, by the way. Now I use my Andes T outliners, and I'm just touching up. That's all I'm doing right now, is I'm just touching up everything that I've done so far. Now I'm going to the beard with my Slimline Pro Li. And I'm just starting from the top of the mustache, where the nose is. And like I said, you must be very careful. Don't rush this. Don't rush the mustache, because you can easily mess up. I'm going inside. I'm just looking at both sides, making sure that it's perfectly even. I'm just going back and forth. I'm looking back and forth from the inside of his mustache, just making sure the beard area is perfectly round. Now what I'm doing is I took my Andes back again, and I'm just touching up, because Andes is extra sharp. There you go, a fade and wave haircut. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. This is Sean Allen Cuts, and we out. Peace.